Okay, so I thought I'd do a rant of my own on Cartoon Network. I've been seeing a lot of rants on Cartoon Network as of late over on YouTube on how bad Cartoon Network is, and I do agree with, for the most part, with those rants, but here are my thoughts on what Cartoon Network needs to do to be a much better network. Personally, I believe that the thing that Cartoon Network needs to do is that they need to feature better cartoons. I mean, all of these new cartoons, they're not really that good anymore, or at least they weren't to begin with. But pretty much, cartoons these days are either remakes of older cartoons, they recycle old jokes that aren't really funny anymore, but my main focus on what Cartoon Network needs to do to improve their network is to show better cartoons. And I know that's very hard to do these days, hard to create new cartoons, so why not show older cartoons instead? I mean, cartoons in the late 80s and early 90s, those were when cartoons were at their best. And I mean, not all new cartoons and not all new animes are needed to make a good cartoon network. I mean, when you had shows back then like G.I. Joe, the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and many others, it's like, here are some shows that I want to see Cartoon Network show now on their station. I want to see them show G.I. Joe, I want to see them show the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ronin Warriors, and here's another cartoon I'm sure some of you might not have heard of, but for those of you who have heard it, thank you very much. You are true cartoon fans. King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. That show was only on for like 1 or 2 years, but it was one of the best cartoon shows out there. The intro to King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, no other cartoon intro will ever beat it. I'm serious. If you don't believe me, go look up King Arthur and the Knights of Justice intro over on YouTube. You will see what I mean. See, other cartoons that I feel that they should show again that they have shown in the 2000s. Megas XLR. That was, in my opinion, the best American-based cartoon out there. I mean, someone finding a huge robot in a junkyard, buying it for $2, decking it out, fighting aliens from the future. I mean, you can't get any better than that. I mean, show Megas XLR again. That show rocked big time. Another show that I want Cartoon Network to feature again, Mare, or as otherwise known, March and Awakens Romance. I mean, they only showed like 12 episodes of that anime series, and it was a really good anime series. I mean, it was really good. It had interesting characters. It had, well, I'm not sure how much I can go on to justify that show, but to all you Mayor fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. So the shows that Cartoon Network needs to bring back to make it a much better network: G.I. Joe, the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ronin Warriors, King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, and Mare. And maybe some other Cartoon Network originals such as Ed, Edd and Eddy, Dexter's Laboratory, and Powerpuff Girls, and a few other Cartoon Network originals that made Cartoon Network what it was. So my main focus for Cartoon Network, if you are listening, Cartoon Network executives, bring back old shows. I mean, don't be afraid of what the newer generation is going to think. Because the newer generation may actually enjoy the old-time shows. I can pretty much guarantee you that you can't ruin Cartoon Network worse than it already is. Well, you could, but... Well, you could with the fact that you're showing shows that aren't actually cartoons, like Goosebumps. I mean, what the heck? I mean, you're showing shows that aren't even cartoons? It makes 0 sense. I mean, get rid of all shows on Cartoon Network that are not cartoons because they do not belong on that TV network. So that's pretty much what I feel that Cartoon Network needs to do to improve. They need to get rid of all shows that are not cartoons. They need to bring back old shows such as G.I. Joe, TMNT, the original TMNT, Ronin Warriors, King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, Mayor, Mega XLR, a few of the other Cartoon Network originals. So that's pretty much my rant on Cartoon Network. This is my personal opinion on what will make Cartoon Network a much better station to watch. Thank you very much for keeping up with this video, for those of you who have been watching, and yeah. Be sure to keep giving suggestions on how Cartoon Network can improve in these video rants.